Breakfast may be called the most important meal of the day, but it's also the meal many children, even adults, skip.
Experts have been telling us for years, moms as well,
Right.
Eat a good breakfast. Yet many of us start the day with a sugary food or nothing at all. Our registered dietitian, Lori Meyer, here this afternoon to tell us why it is so important we have a good, nutritious breakfast.
Well, it is important. First of all, most of us have been fasting for at least 8 hours. You sleep, you should be 8 hours. And so you're breaking that fast, but your body now needs fuel. And just in order to run, to be able to move, to exercise, but the brain also needs fuel to think. And they have found that kids who eat breakfast do better in school.
Okay.
Their concentration is better, their memory is better, their test scores are better, coordination is better. So it's really important, especially for kids, but all of us. Adults who eat breakfast tend to weigh less. They also tend to have less diabetes and less heart disease. So it is an important meal. I don't know if I'm going to go as far as to say it's the most important meal, because I think every meal is important, but it is really an important one and we shouldn't be skipping it.
Is there any timing that plays into this? As soon as we get up, we eat. We wait for our body to tell us it's hungry. What should we do?
And this is it's a little controversial, because some people think you have to eat breakfast the minute you jump out of bed. And the data is kind of, it's a little bit wishy-washy on this. They say maybe within the first hour that you should try to eat breakfast, but if you are not hungry, it's never a good idea to force yourself to eat and kind of dictate what your body is wanting. There are a couple of things you want to look for, though. If your blood sugar, cholesterol, and weight are really off, if they're a problem, you need to be eating earlier rather than later. But if you can't wait for lunch, and if you're already hungry mid-morning, maybe you need to eat your breakfast just a little bit later. So it's kind of going to be an individual thing.
Okay,
What's important, though, is what you eat. Really important. And so what we really want to get is protein, fiber, and antioxidants.
Not a lot of carbs.
Well, carbs are important, but the carbs need to be attached to a fiber. And they find that the people who eat the most fiber are the healthiest. Less cancer, less heart disease, less diabetes, less weight problems. So we want to get those three things. You want to look for those. And so, Steve, you're going to say we have some examples. And you were talking about these last week too. These little egg cups. Anybody can make a scrambled egg, whip up some eggs, any vegetables, any cheese, ham, anything that you have in your refrigerator, whip it up, put it in your muffin tins, bake it, and you can eat some right then when they come out of the oven.
350, 10 minutes, you said.
About 10 minutes,
you can hide spinach in there and get your fiber at the same time.
You can hide a lot in there, and you can get a
Save them
lot
for
of
later,
nutrients.
yes.
But then save them for later, and you can always reheat them tomorrow or the next day. I also made some muffins for kids who just don't want to have any eggs. These are peanut butter or almond butter, banana, and oatmeal muffins. There's no flour in them, so they are a whole grain. They're high fiber. They have some protein in them, so you could have a couple of muffins, and that would work, maybe with a glass of milk.
What's that guy?
This was supposed to be a tortilla, but the lady didn't put my tortillas in my bag, so I had to use one of my rice tortillas and kind of make it fit. But this would be like a wrap or an egg wrap or an egg tortilla. I have a parfait, Greek yogurt, a little bit higher in protein than the regular yogurts, with some fruit and some muesli. I also have quinoa. Oatmeal is a great thing for breakfast, but if you don't have the time, everybody has time for quinoa.
You can do oatmeal quinoa.
You can do both, but the quinoa takes 2 minutes to cook.
Wow.
Boil your water, stir the quinoa in, 2 minutes, it's done. You can season it however you want, whatever flavors, and then round out with some fruit.
How big should a breakfast be? I mean, how many if you get like 2,000
should we have
calories.
a big breakfast or a small breakfast?
How many do you get?
Because they say eat like a king in the morning, and then you taper as the night goes on or the day goes on.
Like breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, dinner like a pauper. And if you do that, that's actually pretty healthy. There have been a couple of studies that indicate eating a big breakfast can be helpful only if you eat a small dinner. But if you eat a big breakfast and a big dinner, it might not be as beneficial to your weight.
That's right.
So, 350 to 550 calories, about what most breakfasts should be.
Those muffins smell fantastic, by the way.
You can smell those?
I can smell those.
You've got a nose on you, like...
You could get a job doing something with that.
It is a blessing and a curse. Got a question for the experts? Email them. Ask the expert, today's TMJ4.com. You can also leave a voicemail. That number is 96752.